What's up gamers, my name is Fox. In this video I'm going to cover how to play Monk in Dawntrail. This guide assumes you're level 100. If that's not the case, some abilities are not available yet or are called differently, so keep that in mind. If you already know most of Monk and are only interested in the rotation, burst and opener, feel free to check the timestamps. Let's start with the basics. Monk does not have combo GCDs like other classes. Instead, the Monk relies on forms. This is very important for later on. The three forms that Monk can be in are called Oppo form, Raptor form, or Curl form. Every form enhances the execution of two different GCDs. The Oppo form enhances Dragon Kick and Leaping Oppo, which I will refer to as Boot due to it being called Boot Shine, and the community together agreed that Leaping Oppo is a terrible name. For your information, Leaping Oppo is the upgraded version of Boot Shine, which you acquire at level 92. Raptor form enhances Twin Snakes and Rising Raptor, and lastly, Curl form enhances Demolish and Pouncing Curl. Upon execution of an Oppo GCD, you will be granted Raptor form, which upon execution will put you into Curl form. Now we need to know which GCD we need to press, which is where our newly acquired ball system comes into play. This is referred to in-game as Oppo Fury, Raptor Fury, or Curl Fury. Our GCDs can be split into two here, ball fillers and ball drainers. Yes, I'm choosing this language on purpose because it's funny. Dragon Kick, Twin Snakes and Demolish are ball fillers. This means they give you one or two balls upon execution. Boot Shine, Rising Raptor and Pouncing Curl are ball drainers, which means they consume a ball upon being used. This information is enough to determine our normal filler rotation that we use outside of burst windows, which simply consists of fill balls when needed, drain balls when possible. To put it into GCDs, this will result in the following sequence. Dragon Kick into Twin Snakes into Demolish. This sequence fills all of our balls and lets us then continue with the use of Boot Shine into Rising Raptor and Pouncing Curl. Our next three GCDs would then be Dragon Kick, followed by Twin Snakes into Pouncing Curl, and so on. I hope this system is clear to you, as you have to respect the balls. Now that you know what GCDs to press, it's time to look at some of our buffs. First, the Press and Forget buff Brotherhood. 5% damage for our party and an increased chance for us to gain Chakra stacks. What are Chakra stacks, you may ask? Well, they are quite simple. Upon switching to Monk, you will have this fancy looking gauge which represents our Chakra. Once you reach 5 Chakra, you can press the OGCD called the Forbidden Chakra and deal some damage. Riddle of Wind simply decreases our auto attack delay, meaning we deal more damage with our auto attacks. Since Dawntrail, you have a nice follow-up button called Wind's Reply, which is a GCD you can execute for 20 seconds, which you should use. Riddle of Earth and the follow-up Earth's Reply are mitigation and healing tools, so press those whenever big damage is coming in. Since we're on the topic of heals, Mantra increases healing for your party by 10%, so again use when big damage is happening. Next up, our buff called Riddle of Fire, which is a 15% damage increase for ourselves. In Dawntrail, this now has a nice follow-up button, which is called Fire's Reply. Upon using Fire's Reply, you deal big damage, but you also get a buff called Formless Fist. Formless Fist allows you to execute any GCD you want without being in the right form, as the buff implies. Last but not least, we have the Perfect Balance, the probably most important button Monk has. Upon execution, you gain 3 stacks of Perfect Balance, which allows the execution of any GCD without being in the right form. While this sounds similar to Formless Fist, Perfect Balance is our gateway to the next important mechanic, which are the Solar and Lunar Nadi. While in Perfect Balance, the execution of a skill will give you the Beast Chakra of the respective form. So, if you use an Oppo GCD, you will be granted the Oppo Chakra. If you use a Raptor form GCD, you get the Raptor Chakra, and lastly, same principle applies to Curl Chakra. Upon having consumed your 3 stacks of Perfect Balance and executed 3 skills, you will get access to one of the following 3 abilities: Celestial Revolution, Rising Phoenix, or Elixir Burst. Which one you get depends on the Beast Chakra you acquired during your Perfect Balance. All of those 3 also grant you Formless Fist. Let's have a closer look at this. If you execute 3 GCDs of the same form, you will unlock Elixir Burst. If you execute 3 different form GCDs, you will get Rising Phoenix instead. Lastly, if you press 2 times the same and 1 different form GCD, you will have to use Celestial Revolution. This GCD is available on the Masterful Blitz button once you meet the requirements. Upon using one of the 3 above mentioned skills, you will get a Nadi. These are visible on your gauge as a purple and a white orb, one being called Lunar Nadi and one being called Solar Nadi. Elixir Burst will give you the Lunar Nadi and Rising Phoenix the Solar Nadi. Celestial Revolution, which should be avoided, will give you either Lunar or Solar depending on which one you are missing. Once you acquired both Nadi, you will get access to the powerful GCD called Phantom Rush upon the execution of your next Perfect Balance window. Lastly, 6-sided stars should still be avoided to be used unless you have to disengage or you want to limit break. Now that you should know the basics of Monk, let's have a look at the rotation, opener and burst windows. First, we're going to have a look at the filler rotation that you will be applying outside of your burst and outside of your opener. So this, as indicated, is live and die by the balls. So we're going to start with grabbing some balls, as we should, and then we're going to spend them. And that's pretty much what you will do, again, outside of your opener and outside of your burst window. In case it wasn't clear from the start of the video, it is pretty simple. It's not very difficult. But of course, we also going to have to look at the opener and the burst windows. So regarding the opener, there is one thing I haven't mentioned yet in this video, which is Form Shift, which you should press always before the opener. It gives you Formless Fist, which means you can execute any form GCD. And then of course also the Meditate button in order to get your 5 chakras pre-pull. So this is very important. What's the goal of the Monk opener? As every opener, do as much damage as possible inside of your own buffs and your party buffs. So we are talking about Riddle of Fire and Brotherhood, of course. Now, Riddle of Wind is also buffed, but it doesn't affect your other damage sources. The idea for Monk here is that we do a double Lunar Nadi opener because it is actually more potency, simply put, because of the guaranteed crit from Leaping Upper or Bootshine, whatever you want to call it. So in the opener, double Lunar Nadi, which means that Perfect Balance will only be used on these here. You basically only spam those GCDs in the whole opener. You might say, but why are we not getting a Solar Nadi? That is because, simply put, this is too strong. Solar Nadi will be coming in the 1 minute window. Now, there are scenarios where a Solar Lunar opener is stronger, which is when you know your kill time. If you're in a consistent party, if you're in a party that knows what they're doing and you know when you're going to kill the enemy, it is maybe better if you gain a Phantom Rush instead of losing one because of your double Lunar opener. In general, you want to execute a double Lunar opener. So the way the opener looks like is basically we start off with a Dragon Kick into Perfect Balance, Forbidden Chakra, then spam Oppo skills until our Beast Gauge is full. We're going to be buffing then with Brotherhood and Riddle of Fire our Elixir Burst. We're going to be using Fire's Reply into a Formless GCD, which will be an Oppo again. We're going to be using Rinse Reply. Then we're pressing Perfect Balance again and spam Oppo until we have, again, Elixir Burst. And the potion can be used pre-pull. If you don't like that, you can use it also after the first Leaping Oppo. So in practice, this looks as follows. We're starting off with a Dragon Kick into Perfect Balance and the Forbidden Chakra, the Leaping Oppo, Dragon Kick, Leaping Oppo. We use our buffs into Elixir Burst, Formless GCD, which is an Oppo, then Fire's Reply, Formless GCD, of course, the Oppo again, Wind's Reply, Perfect Balance, and we continue the Oppo spam. Don't forget to use your Forbidden Chakra, and we end it all on Elixir Burst, again a Formless GCD, which is, of course, the Oppo GCD. In the case of 1 minute bursts or odd minute burst windows, we want to get a Solar Nadi and of course have as much damage as possible in our Riddle of Fire window. Now if you play Solar Lunar opener, this is different, but in the case of double Lunar opener, we now get our Solar Nadi. The way we launch this window is basically by tracking the Riddle of Fire cooldown and our form GCD. After you use an Oppo GCD, so Dragon Kick or Bootshine, you will be pressing Perfect Balance and Riddle of Fire as a double weave, and then execute your Solar Nadi window, so a normal Oppo Raptor curl window. You get Phoenix, and then you do your formulas, fire reply into formulas, and voila, that's your 1 minute burst window. Quite easy and simple to execute. For the 2 minute window, we follow a very similar idea. Again, we want to have all of our big damage GCDs in there. So Phantom Rush will be in there, and of course also Elixir Burst. So what's important here is that we also launch it in a very similar fashion. We will be using an Oppo GCD, and then you have to again look at your cooldowns. Depending on those, you then press Perfect Balance before you press Riddle of Fire and Brotherhood at the same time. Those are our double weave OGCDs basically. And then you execute everything as always. You use your full Oppo rotation. Just make sure that Phantom Rush and Elixir Burst are inside of this window. Optimally, you also have only Oppo GCDs in it if possible. And voila, now you know everything there is to know about Monk when it comes to the basic rotation, burst windows, openers, and so on. If you want all of this in a written guide form, or you want to optimize more beyond this level, there is always the Balance Discord, which I highly suggest joining if you have questions regarding optimization or specific fights. Otherwise, you can also ask me the questions in the comments if you have more basic questions of something you might not have understood, of course. And I overall hope that this guide was very helpful and might make you want to pick up Monk. That would be awesome. If you did like the video, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe to the channel, because I will be releasing more videos like this in the future for other classes that I play. I mostly play melee DPS, and yeah, I think that's about it. I also, of course, stream on Twitch a lot. I stream my Monk gameplay there currently in the Extreme Trials. I will also be playing it in Savage probably. So if you want to see this gameplay live, make sure to hit up my Twitch channel. And I also have, of course, a Twitter/X account, whatever you want to call it, if you just want to hear me rant there. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. And I, of course, hope that you will have an amazing rest of your day wherever you live.